Let's continue our discussion with first order solution of first order differential equations with homogeneous coefficients. So of course, ang ating objective is to solve such differential equations. So as we have mentioned last time, that the general form or standard form of our first order differential equation is given by axy dx plus bxy dy is equal to 0, na pwede nating i-convert into a function of x so that magiging integrable siya, or function of y para maging integrable siya. So what if this general form or form of our FODE is not possible to separate the variables? So hindi siya pwedeng maging purely function of x or maging purely function of y by dividing a certain function na hindi kailangan. So if the coefficients are of the same degree in x and y, then the coefficients are said to be homogeneous. So, ibig sabihin, kapag hindi na siya kayang ma-convert into separable, tapos nakita natin dito sa coefficient na to na of same degree sila, a and b, are of same degree in x and y, then the coefficients are said to be homogeneous. What will we do with this homogeneous different coefficients ng first order DE? So, pwede natin siyang i-transform into variable separable by using this substitution. So, we can use x is equal to qy. So, for which q can be any variable. It can be beta, alpha, whatever variable you want. Then the derivative of x is q dy plus y dq using derivative of a product. Or, so we have a choice. We can use x in terms of y or y in terms of x. Y is equal to q of x naman. So then the derivative of y is equal to q dx plus x dq. So gagawa tayo ng illustration. So this is again taken from the book Engineering Differential Equations by Bravo Cruz Gomez. So this is number 8, page 28. So given that 2t cubed ds minus the quantity 3s t squared minus 2s cubed dt is equal to 0. So notice, kung titingnan mo yung second term, ang common factor dito ay s sa two terms na to. So if we factor out s, magkakaroon pa rin siya ng factor na merong t at merong s. So ibig sabihin, hindi natin siya pwedeng i-separate into separable equations. So ibig sabihin, hindi uubra ang ating first method. So now, tingnan natin yung pangalawang method. So dapat daw lahat ng exponent ay pare-parehas. They are of the same degree. So this is t cubed. So this is degree 3. So itong term na to is also degree 3 kasi s cubed. This one is also degree 3 since ang exponent ni s ay 1. Naka-multiply kay t na raised to the second power. Remember, when you are multiplying, you are adding exponents. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So all of the exponents ay 3. So therefore, the coefficients of the given differential equation ay homogeneous. So therefore, pwede tayong gumamit ng substitution na one variable in terms of the other na meron tayong multiplier na any variable. So I use S is equal to QT. So again, pwede rin natin gamitin yung T is equal to QS. So bakit hindi natin gagamitin si T is equal to QS? So di ba pag kinuha natin ang derivative ni T, that gives you QDS plus SDQ. Plus SDQ. If this substitution ang gagamitin natin, so kung titingnan natin, imumultiply natin kasi ito sa second term eh. So dt ito. So if that's dt is two terms, QDS plus SDQ multiplied by two terms, so that gives you, gagamit pa tayo ng FOIL method kasi two terms times two terms ito. Whereas, if I am going to use S is equal to Q of T, Q times T, ang aking second term, ay ang aking ds ay magiging Q dt plus T dq to be multiplied by this coefficient 2t cubed. So, syempre, it is better na mag-multiply tayo ng one term by two terms kesa dun sa two terms by two terms. So, again, pwedeng gamitin ito kaso mas mahabang solusyon ang mangyayari. So, that's why we are to choose syempre, yung mas madaling way. So, S is equal to Q times T. So, again, its derivative using derivative of a product is Q dt plus T dQ. So, replacing S with QT, replacing ds with Q dt plus T dQ. So, this ds now is Q dt plus T dQ minus the quantity 3S, but S is equal to QT multiplied by t squared minus 2s, s is qt raised to the third power multiplied by dt. So simplifying by distributing this 2t cube sa nasa inside the parenthesis gives you 2t cube q dt plus 2t to the fourth dq minus, of course, this minus must be distributed then sa each of the term inside this bracket, gives you negative 3q, that's t and t squared is t cubed dt. Kasi meron ka pang dt doon kasi naka-multiply pa rin siya sa dt. Then minus multiplied by minus becomes positive. 2q cube and t cube is q cube t cube multiplied by dt is equal to 0. So now, lahat ng merong pagsasama-samahin natin. So, kung meron kang makitang common dun sa dalawa, pwede nating pagsamahin. So, this 2t cube q dt is of the same term with negative 3qt cube dt. So, that if you are to combine that, that gives you negative qt cube dt, and then the 2q cube t cube dt is now equal to 0. Now, combining like terms, you have 2q cube t cube dt and then qt cube dt. So, pagsamahin natin yung second at saka yung third term by factoring out the common term. So, you have q here and q cube, common is q. You have t cube dt and another t cube dt on this term. So, therefore, ang common factor natin ay qt cube dt. So, what is left on our, inside this parenthesis is 2, of course. Then q cube divided by q is q squared. T cube divided by t cube is 1. dt divided by dt is 1. So, therefore, what is left on this term is 2q squared. So, this one naman divided by that is, of course, negative 1. Plus, copy lang natin si 2t to the fourth dq. That is equal to 0. So, now, it is now ready using variable separable. So, we can now separate the variable na by dividing this first term dun sa hindi kailangan. So, you are integrating with respect to t. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng q kailangan nating tanggalin. You are integrating with respect to q. So, lahat dapat ng t to the ng non-q variable must be eliminated on this term. So, anong gagawin? I-divide natin siya. Let's try to divide this first. Wait. So, i-divide natin yung term na yon with 1 over, sa second term, i-divide ko siya by t to the fourth. Yung first term, i-divide ko sa q na function. So, this is q. You have here 2q squared minus 1. So, dividing all this resulting differential equation by t to the fourth q multiplied by the quantity 2q squared minus 1. So, again, q and 2q squared minus 1 cancels out with that. You have t cubed divided by t to the fourth. Ito na siya. Plus dq over q times the quantity 2q squared minus 1 because t to the fourth cancels out with t to the fourth. Simplifying this, t cube and t to the fourth, matatanggal yung t cube, may matitirang t sa ilalim, so that gives you dt over t. And then 2 is a constant, so you have to put that outside. dq over q times the quantity, factoring this using a squared minus b squared. So square root of this 2q squared is the square root of 2q plus 1 and square root of 2q minus 1. So ang ginamit natin ay yung a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b multiplied by a plus b. So yun ang ginamit natin. A plus b. So multiply natin siya by a minus b. So that's why nagkaroon tayo ng square root of q ay square root of 2q plus 1 multiplied by square root of 2q minus 1. So since function of t na, function of q na, it's now ready for integration. So that's why meron na tayo nito. Both are side of the equation ay integrable na. So let us try to integrate first yung ating second term. So by integrating that second term, gagamit tayo ng partial fractions. So di ba sabi meron tayo ditong 1 kapag walang nakasulat. So this gives you 1 over q squared of 2q plus 1 square root of 2q minus 1. So this is partial fraction case 1. Kasi lahat ng root sa denominator ay linear at magkakaiba. So distinct roots ang ating denominator. So that gives you a over q, a over the first denominator, plus b over the second denominator, plus c over the third denominator. So multiplying this all by its LCD. So yung LCD mo is yung denominator na ito. So tago na lang natin siya sa pangalang LCD. Yung LCD nitong tatlo. So that gives you 1 because that q times the square root of 2q plus 1 square root of 2q minus 1 divided, ano mo na siya kay LCD, magka-cancel out siya. So this is 1 equals this a over q multiplied by LCD, that q cancels out, matitira square root of 2q plus 1 square root of 2q minus 1. Plus, ito namang b, ang makakancel naman ito ay yung square root of 2q plus 1, giving you q square root of 2q minus 1. Plus, yung square root of 2q minus 1 naman na makakancel out, giving you square root of 2q plus 1 multiplied by q. So now, how are we going to find the values of A, B, and C? So una muna, isosolve natin yung ating mga arbitrary constants. So ang first assumption natin, tingin muna tayo sa first denominator. Our first denominator is Q. Equate that to 0, that gives you when Q is 0. If Q is 0, this is equal to 1, equal to square root of 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is positive 1. Square root of 2 times 0 is 0 minus 1 is negative 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. So A times negative 1. Then, for B, times 0 times 0. So, ibig sabihin, B and C cancels out if Q is equal to 0. Then, A is negative 1. Let's solve for the other variable. Look on the second denominator. So, on the second denominator, square root of 2Q plus 1, equate natin sa 0, so magiging negative 1. Pag in-equate natin sa 0, transpose natin itong positive 1 on the right side of the equation, that gives you Q equals negative square root of 1/2. Substituting sa ating equation, magiging 1 is equal to square root of 2 times negative square root of 2 is negative 1 plus 1, 0. A cancels out. For letter C, square root of 2 times negative square root of 2 is negative 1 plus 1. C also cancels out. So for letter B, substitute natin 1 is equal to B times the quantity. This value is Q, which is negative 1 over square root of 2 multiplied by square root of 2 times negative 1 over square root of 2 is negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So therefore, Letter B is equal to square root of 2 over 2. Cross-multiply lang natin siya. Because negative times negative is positive, so cross-multiply mo lang siya doon, magiging square root of 2 over 2 ang value ng B. For letter C, ito naman ang gagawin natin. Square root of 2Q naman, equate natin sa 0, yung negative 1 naman ang itatranspose natin sa kanan, kaya magiging positive. Then Q is 1 over square root of 2. So doing the same, isa-substitute lang natin. A and B cancels out kasi yung square root of 2Q, square root of 2 times 1 over square root of 2 is 1 minus 1 is 0. A cancels out. For letter B, square root of 2 times 1 over square root of 2 is 1 minus 1, 0. So B and A are both 0. Then substitute natin kay C. 1 is equal to C times square root of 1 over square root of 2, the value of Q. And then square root of 2 times 1 over square root of 2 is 1 plus 1 is 2. Then C is also square root of 2 over 2 using cross multiplication. So having that solved, A is negative 1, B is square root of 2 over 2, C is square root of 2 over 2. Then isa-substitute na natin siya dito. Burahin muna natin. Okay. So square root of dt over t, ito pa rin siya, plus 2 times the quantity, the value of A is negative 1. So that becomes negative 1 over Q. So that's why meron ka dong negative 1 over Q. Plus letter B. Letter B is square root of 2 over 2 times the quantity square root of 2Q plus 1, giving you that. Plus C naman is also square root of 2 over 2 over square root of 2Q minus 1. dQ is equal to integral of 0. So let us try to integrate this each term. So didistribute muna natin itong 2 sa lahat ng nasa parenthesis. Yep. So this gives you integral of dt over t minus 2 integral of dq over q plus that 2 cancels out with that 2, giving you square root of 2 dq over square root of 2q plus 1 plus square root of 2 dq over square root of 2q minus 1 is equal to 0 kasi yung 2 at saka yung 2 dito magka-cancel out dun sa 2 na outside the integral sign. Integrating, you have ln of t. This is negative 2. Integral of dq over q is ln of q. Then if u is square root of 2q plus 1, ang derivative niya ay square root of 2 dq. So this is exactly du over u, whose integral is ln of square root of 2q plus 1. Also this one, square root of 2q minus 1, whose derivative is square root of 2q dq. That's du over u ulit, and that's also ln of, so there's an ln here. ln of square root of 2q minus 1 is equal to integral of 0 is ln of c. Then, since lahat ng yan ay may ln, kaya naglagay ako dito ng ln of c. Para mas madali nating i-combine yung ating equation. So, mas madali natin siyang ma-simplify because ln of c is still a constant. So, with this negative 2, using property ng logarithm that a ln b is equal to ln b raised to a. So, what happens to 2 becomes the exponent of q. So that gives you ln q square. And since that's negative, transpose natin to the right becomes positive ln q squared. So you have ln of c plus ln q squared. Then copy lang natin si ln t plus ln square root of 2q plus 1 plus ln of square root of 2q minus 1. I forgot to put the ln. Then sabi ni derivative ni ln of sum, So ln of t plus ln of square root of 2q plus 1 plus ln of square root of 2q minus 1, you are multiplying lang dun sa ating ln. So di ba meron tayong principle that ln AB is equal to ln of A plus ln of B. So pagka sum, itina-times lang natin yung mga nasa yung mga ln of a number. So mumultiply lang natin yung numbers na nasa ln. So since puro plus yan, ln t plus ln square root of 2q plus 1 plus ln square root of 2q minus 1, ibig sabihin, imumultiply lang natin lahat yon. Then equal to ln cq squared kasi naka-plus din siya. Then, using anti-ln, i-erase natin siya yung ano sa e. And then, e raised to ln something is something. So, this becomes cq squared equal to t times square root of 2q times square root of 2q is 2q squared minus 1. So, giving you this. Pero hindi pa tayo tapos kasi ang ating given must be expressed in t and s. Meron kang q, balik natin siya sa original form niya. Q is equal to S over T. So substituting, instead of Q, I have to replace it with S over T raised to the second power minus 1 equals C S over T raised to the second power. So S squared T squared. So gagamit ako dito ng LCD. So di ba meron ditong 1? If T squared is LCD, T squared to, t squared divided by t squared is 1 multiplied by 2s squared is 2s squared. T squared divided by 1 is t squared times 1 is negative t squared. So this gives you, pag minultiply natin lahat ito by t squared, multiply din natin itong kabila ng t squared. Ang mangyayari, makakancel yung t squared dito sa t squared na to, at yung t squared dito, makakancel din sa t squared na yun. So, giving you t times the quantity 2s squared minus t squared is equal to cs squared. So, this will be our general solution. So, our general solution. So, since meron tayong initial condition that when s is equal to 1, t is equal to 1. Substituting gives 1, 2, 1 squared minus t squared is 1 squared. Quantity equals c1 squared. Then c is equal to 1 because 2 minus 1 is 1 times 1. 1 squared is 1 times c. So, c is equal to 1. So, substituting, makikita natin ito. T times 2s squared minus t squared is equal to 1 times s squared is s squared. So, since ito yung nakuha, wala dun sa mga choices, so, i-ano natin siya, i-arrange natin siya. So, this is 2ts squared minus t cubed is equal to s squared. So, by distributing that all. Then, 2ts squared minus s squared is equal to t cubed by transposing that negative t cubed and transposing that s squared. Then s squared is common to both. That gives you s squared times the quantity 2t minus 1 equals t cubed. S squared 2t minus 1 equals t cubed. So this will be our answer. S squared quantity 2t minus 1 is equal to t cubed. So that will be our answer for that. So let's have another example. That's number 10, page 28. So look at this equation. So syempre, meron tayong, hindi na ito masa-separate kasi meron na siyang magkasamang x and t sa angle niya. So it's impossible na or cannot be separated ang x at saka ang t. So hindi na siya separable or variable separable equation. So gagamit tayo ng next method kung siya ay homogeneous. So, as you can see, This sine x over t is the same as this term na mayroong cosine x over t, and then same as with this term na mayroong cosine x over t. Sine of x over t. Same function lang sila. And this term ay mayroong x to the 1. Ito naman ay t to the 1. Ito naman ay t to the 1. So each term are of the same degree. So therefore, siya ay homogeneous. So dahil homogeneous siya, gagamitan na natin siya ng substitution. So let us try to solve. So ang gagamitin natin ay x is equal to qt. Bakit hindi yung t is equal to qx? Though pwede naman, kaso pag ginamit natin yung dt, ito kasi yung dt magiging 2 terms times 2 terms. So again, mas madali ang mag-multiply ng 1 term multiplied by 2 terms. So your dx there is q dt plus t dq. So this gives you 3t cosine x over t multiplied by the value of dx dependent dun sa ating substitution na ginamit minus 2t sine qt because x is qt. Same lang dun sa sinubstitute natin dito sa x na qt. And then plus 3x, that's 3qt cosine of x which is qt over t dt is equal to 0. So as you can see, yung t cancels out with t, yung t cancels out with t, yung t cancels out with t. So na-eliminate na natin yung nagpa-komplika ng given. So this gives you 3t cosine q multiplied by this dx pa rin minus the quantity 2t sine q plus 3qt cosine q. So simplifying by distributing in each term, distributing. And of course, remember, meron pa tayong dt outside. So this gives you 3t cosine q times q dt is 3qt cosine q dt. Then 3t times t is 3t squared multiplied by cosine q dq. Ito siya. Minus the quantity 2t sine q dt. So that's 2t sine q dt. Minus times positive is still minus q 3qt cosine q dt is equal to 0. So this will be our fourth term. So simplifying, kung merong common term, pagsamahin. So notice that this first term and last term cancels out. 3qt cosine q dt and negative 3qt cosine q dt is 0. So giving you 3t squared cosine q dq minus 2t sine q dt. So which is obviously ready na para sa ating variable separable. So again, with respect to q, lahat ng hindi kailangan i-divide. So sa first term, i-divide natin siya by t squared. Sa second term, ang hindi kailangan ay sine q. So di-divide ko siya by sine q. Sine q. So pag dinivide natin sa sine q, yung t squared at yung t squared dito magiging 1 na lang. So matitira 3 cosine q over sine q dq minus yung t, i-divide niya yung t squared. Ito siya. Si sine q divided by sine q is 1, dt is equal to 0. Simplifying further, that gives you 3 integral of cosine q over sine q dq minus integral minus 2 integral of dt over t equals integral of 0. Let us try to integrate. So if u is sine q, derivative is cosine q dq. So that is simply ln of sine q times 3. That's 3 ln sine q minus 2 integral of dt over t is ln t And may ln, para mas madaling i-combine, ilagyan din natin ng ln yung c since ln of c is still a constant. So using property ng logarithm, the 2 becomes the exponent of t, the 3 becomes the exponent of sine. So this gives you ln sine q to the third minus ln c, transposing this negative on the right side of the equation gives you ln t squared. Combining, since addition, you are multiplying c and t squared, so that's ln ct squared is equal to ln cube, sine cube q. So using anti-ln, raise natin, that gives you sine cube q is equal to ct squared. But then again, q is equal to x over t using our substitution kanina that x is equal to qt. So if x is equal to qt from our substitution, divide both sides by t, then q is equal to x over t. Then you have q is x over t is equal to ct squared. So this will be our general solution. So that will be our general solution. So may initial condition tayo that when t is 8, the value of x is 4 pi. So substituting, that gives you sine cube of 4 pi over 8. The value of x is 4 pi. The value of t is 8 is equal to 8 raised to the second power. 4 pi over 8 is pi over 2. And sine pi over 2 is 1. So sine 90 degrees. Sine pi over 2 or sine 90 degrees is equal to 1. Raised to the third power is 1 divided by 64 to solve for the value of c. Then c is 1 over 64. Then sine cube x over t is the value of c is 1 over 64 t squared, or using cross multiplication, giving you 64 sine cube x over t is equal to t squared. So that will be, of course, A. 64 sine cube x is equal to t squared. So that will be our answer.